everybody, Jennifer here with the Family Fudge, and welcome to Bunches of Lunches. Now, before we jump into a brand new year of lunches, it's time for one of my favorite traditions, and this is something that I honestly look forward to every year. In today's video, I'm ranking the best lunches from the entire year. And friends, I made a lot of lunches last year, but of course, only the best ones are making it onto this list. These lunches are wild and totally over the top. We're talking tons of movie-themed lunches, travel-inspired lunches, lunches based on my kids' favorite characters and their favorite things, and of course, I'm also including some amazing lunches inspired by you guys, our awesome subscribers. So now stick around as we count them all down and let me know in the comments below which lunches are your favorite. Now, here's the thing, you guys. This video should probably have been a top 10, but there was no way that I could narrow down my list that far. So instead, I'm gonna start with number 15. This lunch came from a full week of subscriber ideas. I loved every single one. That week also included a leprechaun-themed lunch and a shamrock-themed lunch since it was St. Patrick's Day. But this butterfly lunch completely stole the show. Now, this lunch idea was sent in by Lillian from Toronto, Canada, and she asked for a completely butterfly-themed lunch, and I think this totally delivered. Now, for the sandwich itself, she did ask for cherry jam and sun butter instead of peanut butter. I think that is so smart because a lot of schools these days, they don't allow peanut butter, so sun butter, I think, is a great alternative. Then, to keep things fresh and fruity, I added strawberry hearts, butterfly-shaped cantaloupe, some juicy pineapple, and for a little crunch, some mini butterfly cucumbers. Now on the side, I did add lots of cheese and crackers, butterfly shaped of course. And then for the sweet treat, I was able to find these super cute sprinkle covered butterfly cookies. Now I love this lunch because it came out so bright, and I think this lunch is such a fun way to kick off the list. For lunch number 14, I have to go with the Demon Hunter's Delight. This was a theme that was requested by so many of you guys, but I have to tell you, I think the cutest character in the whole movie is definitely Derpy. I did my best to turn him into a sandwich. Now, I think he turned out pretty derpy in the best way. Then you guys, for the rest of this lunch, the kids and I headed to a brand new store in our area called H Mart. And there we were able to find lots of Korean-inspired snacks. Now, for this lunch, I also added some spicy Korean ramen. This one had the movie characters right on the packaging. I also added some kimbap and lots of other foods that you actually see in the movie itself, like some shrimp chips. This lunch turned out so bold but cute, and I think that fully embraces that K-pop Demon Hunter vibe. Next up is lunch number 13, which is the perfect number for this one because it's Taylor Swift inspired. Now, this particular lunch was part of our back to school episode, and since that's a very special week in our house, I always try to make extra special lunches for each of my kiddos based on what they each really love. During this week, I made a ramen themed lunch for my son Jackson. I made a pizza Mario themed lunch for my son Griffin, a Stitch themed lunch for my daughter Lily. But you guys, my favorite lunch from this week was definitely for my daughter Mackenzie, who is a Swiftie. For her, I made this Life of a Showgirl themed lunch. And it was because the album actually came out that same week. And as you can tell, I went all out on the orange food for this one. Now, I'm not sure if a real showgirl would enjoy this lunch, but I know my daughter Mackenzie did. Okay guys, next up we have lunch number 12, and it comes from Disney Villains Week. Now, you'll have to let me know in the comments down below who your favorite Disney villain is. Now, I know I've said this before, but mine is still Lotso from Toy Story. And yes, I did make a Lotso themed lunch this week. I also made a Captain Hook themed lunch, a Maleficent-themed lunch, and a Cruella de Vil-themed lunch, and that's because the kids and I had just gone and seen the new villain show at Hollywood Studios in Disney World for the first time. Now you guys, this was such a fun show. I highly recommend it, but out of all of the lunches from this week, I have to pick just one, so I'm gonna go with the Cruella de Vil lunch. For the main course, I made some mini pizza muffins, and to really give them that Dalmatian look, I added some olives to the top. In here, I also added some red bell pepper lips. This definitely gives the lunch a little Cruella flair. Then I also put in some dog bone shaped cucumber slices, and I even put in some peanut butter cereal that totally looks like kibble. I think this lunch has just the right amount of villain energy, yet it's still cute. Okay friends, moving on to lunch number 11, and this one comes from Valentine's week. Now this episode was full of love. I made heart-shaped quesadillas, heart-shaped waffles, and I even made heart-shaped pizza. But honestly, my favorite lunch from this entire week earns number 11 on this list because it was both Valentine's Day and Minecraft themed. This was such a fun mixture of the two, and all of my kids love Minecraft, and I absolutely love the way the blocky heart sandwich turned out. This is definitely one of my favorite builds. The next lunch on our list is not only super playful and creative, but it's also reptile themed. And you guys, this was another one that was sent in by a subscriber. Her name is Lydia and she's from Florida. And she's a huge fan of bearded dragons. Now, I actually started this lunch by making the sweet treat first. I basically made an Oreo dirt cup terrarium, something you might find reptiles in. Now, to go along with this, I also made a bearded dragon PB&J. I added some watermelon, some pineapple, and some veggies. And I also made a snake out of some grapes. Okay guys, next up, mystery lunches. In this episode of Bunches of Lunches, we used a mystery box to determine all of the different themes for the week. Basically, whatever came out of the mystery box, I had to figure out how to make it into a lunch that the kids would actually want to eat. I ended up making a Christmas themed lunch that was really festive even though it wasn't Christmas time. I made an all peanut butter themed lunch, and I even made a Bunches of Lunches book-themed lunch. But definitely the award for best lunch in the entire episode goes to the Pickle Palooza lunch. That's right, this lunch included as many pickle-themed foods as I could possibly find. For the main course, I made some pickle pizzas on mini flatbreads. These were actually so delicious. To go along with that, I also added some pickle snack balls, a Pickle the Dinosaur themed dessert sandwich, and just for fun, I also added a few pickle flavored jelly beans. Now, I thought the kids might want to be brave and try these, but spoiler alert, they were disgusting. I do not recommend pickle jelly beans. Okay guys, with lunch number 8, we're gonna spend some time in our spooky era. This Halloween meets Taylor Swift lunch is spooky in the best way possible. For the main course, I put together a ghostly egg salad sandwich. I also added some ghost-shaped chips, some cat-shaped carrots, some witch hat treats, and you guys, this lunch also included a ton of Taylor Swift song puns. Kind of like dad jokes, but better. Now I know it might sound crazy, but this spooky era lunch will always remind me of Alaska. But that's only because we also used the spooky era theme to decorate our cabin door when we visited Alaska for the first time. And I have to mention that the boys, they went in a totally different direction with their cabin door. They went with a more rustic Bigfoot theme, which I also then turned into a lunch later that week. Now you guys, I go into further detail about the Alaska trip and why we decorated in that video. Definitely go check it out if you have questions. I will link it down below. Now that brings us to lunch number 7, and this one comes from our end of summer episode. Now, this was actually the very last lunch of our summer break. And since one of our favorite places to visit on summer break was Epcot, I totally used that for the inspiration, and I tried to include as many foods as I could that you could actually find at Epcot. And just like that, we're on to number 6. Now, I can't make a list of my favorite lunches without mentioning the epic ones. Epic Universe, that is. This year, the brand new Universal Park opened up near us here in Florida, and right after we got the chance to visit, I was able to go home with lots of inspiration to make these lunches. Oh yes, and I tried to theme them after the different areas of this amazing park. The definite winner was the Isle of Berk themed lunch. This dragon themed lunch included a toothless turkey sandwich, some dragon egg grapes, and lots of fish themed foods too, because I was told that most dragons love eating fish. Oh yes, and I even made a fizzy Night Fury potion. And just like that, we're roaring into number 5. We're going from dragons to dinosaurs. Now, we were lucky enough to be invited to a pre-screening of the latest Jurassic Park movie. And you guys, it was so good, but it did have me on the edge of my seat more than a few times. Now, in honor of the movie, I put together this lunch that is a mixture of comfort food and fun. For this one, I started by making the sweet treat first, and I decided to make a Snickers salad. If you've seen this movie, you'll kind of know that everything started to go wrong because of a Snickers bar. Now, before I move on to lunch number 4, I do have a couple of honorable mentions from this week's episode. These lunches also came out super cute and were really fun to make. In addition to a Squishmallow lunch, I also made a Sailor Moon themed lunch and a Duffy Bear one too. Okay guys, now it's time to make the switch because coming in at number 4 is Lilo and Stitch. Now, you can probably tell that one of our favorite things to do as a family is to go to the movies. And these lunches were made right after we saw the new live-action Lilo and Stitch. During this week, I made lots of other super fun lunches, and they all had really fun sweet treats as well. But my favorite one of the group was definitely this one because of the adorable flip-flop cookies. Now, I made these with Nutter Butter cookies and some licorice and sprinkles. They were actually really easy to make. This lunch also included some Spam fried rice, lots of tropical fruit, and a little Lilo sandwich. This lunch was a perfect mix of cute, cozy with those island vibes. Okay guys, now that brings us to my top 3 lunches of the year. In third place, I'm adding a lunch from a week of Minecraft movie themed lunches. This week I made a Steve themed lunch, a Creeper lunch, and a villager themed lunch too. But honestly, the top spot from this episode has to go to the chicken jockey lunch. Now the sandwich itself had bacon, ranch, and chicken. I also added zombie grapes, some grass block cucumbers, carrot arrows, and skeleton style cheese puffs. And we cannot forget about the super fun but easy creeper cookies. In second place, I'm adding a Wicked themed lunch. Now, this was actually the most popular video of the entire year. I actually collected a lot of different Wicked themed snacks for this one, and I've already been collecting more Wicked themed foods to make a part 2 of this video. Now in this episode, I did end up making one lunch that was all about Glinda. It had lots of pink foods. I also made one all about Elphaba. That one of course had lots of green food. And then I even made a lunch that was more about the original story of Wizard of Oz. But you guys, my favorite lunch was actually this one. Now this lunch is all about combining the green and the pink together. For the main course, I actually made some of this mystery mac and cheese. You didn't know what color it was going to be till after you added the water. My favorite thing of this lunch was definitely the Emerald City salad. This was complete with a yellow brick road made of cheese. And now last but not least, my favorite lunch of the entire year. And you guys, this lunch was not actually one that I made myself. It's one that we bought while we were visiting Tokyo Disneyland last year. Now we did try a lot of really fun and cute foods at Tokyo Disney, but the #1 spot has to go to the Baymax curry. Now of course this was inspired by the movie Big Hero 6. So in this lunch, they've taken the rice and they've shaped it to look like Baymax. And then he's surrounded by 2 different types of Japanese-style curry. You guys, it almost looks like Baymax is just chilling in a hot tub full of curry. This lunch was super cute and highly photo-worthy. Now, if only I could figure out how to make this at home. Okay guys, now that wraps up my favorite lunches of 2025. I had so much fun making and sharing these lunches with you, and I hope they give you some inspiration to make fun lunches for yourself. Thank you guys so much for joining the family, and we'll see you next time.